I clicked the wrong thing, but hi, Sydney.
Hi, Dylan.
We're back and we're in shambles already because I missed my mouse, so it gave it a second. But we
It's
take a
okay.
week off and we don't know what to do, and we'll see how this
Yeah,
goes.
everything falls apart, It's fine.
Everything falls apart, but we have a lot to talk about because the whole reason we didn't have a podcast last week, there's some stuff going on for both of us, but a big part of it was because you were coming back from Austin. Other
I was
things on my side.
traveling.
Other things on my side. We don't need to talk about it, but um, yeah. So I think that's a pretty fair excuse for not having an episode because that means this episode
I
better.
I would hope so. It was awesome. Awesome. Came back technically Wednesday. I didn't get back till Wednesday morning. So that was a little bit of a fun little trip I had. So it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was hot. I got some sun.
Well, you do look a little more tan. That's cool.
Let me tell you, I got some sun. I don't know what's going on with my camera today, but
Did you try the Terry Black's barbecue?
did not.
Really?
So my mom and I were actually going to go try it in downtown Austin, the line was literally down and like around the
What time
block.
did you
So
go?
we went kind of late. We went
Okay.
pretty late.
The
So
Oscar did a video, or not a video, but a post of him going the night before everyone got there, it looked like, because it
yeah,
was him and his girlfriend sitting at the table of Terry Black's, and he had like a full like Texas size meal, and just looks he looks like one of us now. So true
love
American
that. I know. I sadly didn't have the opportunity, but my parents, I believe, are heading down south
again.
here for too long. Yeah, so they're going back to Texas. So I told them they have to do the honors and try it for
And
me.
you need
So
to, and you need to go back, and that'll be something that we're gonna do next year because I'm not missing it this
yes.
time.
And we can go into detail later. I think I've got it down to a system
Mhm.
so
Well, we're gonna get right into it if you're saying that. Take a sip of your drink because you're gonna be talking a lot today. This is your episode.
I know.
So we obviously do have two races to recap. Mexico also happened this last weekend. We didn't have predictions for it, unfortunately. However, we will talk about the predictions for Texas after. But the way we're gonna do it right now, we're gonna recap it. Not that there's a ton to recap. There is some pretty big things that we should probably talk about. Sydney, being the one that was there, is going to recap the entire race. She's also going to tell us her experiences of Austin and see any recommendations that anyone makes or anyone has for
Exactly.
next year. So,
I
without
love
further
it.
ado, take it away, Miss Sydney Rupert.
Yeah, let's get into it. I mean, first and foremost, before I get into the race, I suppose, awesome experience. I love the way that they had set it up. I think it's so cool. There's so many different activities you can do. And I can tell you right now, I could not fathom, I mean, come race day, how many people were like there. It was really cool. Anyways, Dylan and I are going next year. Point blank period. Our
We're
friend Peter
going to
Mark was
other
there.
races
James
too,
Carr was
hopefully.
there.
Montreal's happening too.
Exactly. Awesome experience. Awesome experience. But also with that experience was a sprint race, which was sick. And I would say kind of predictable, not too predictable per se, at least at the end, but I think the beginning was a little bit heartbreaking in my opinion. So
I was thinking about that as soon as it happened, that Sydney just traveled 8 hours or however long it took you to get to Austin just for Oscar and Lando to take each other out at turn one. Where were you sitting at that point?
so I was sitting actually kind of in the midfield. So I was kind of by the S's in a way, but I was like kind of more turn toward oh my gosh, towards turn 12 a
So
little
did
bit.
so on the sprint race, Lando never actually made it to you, did he?
No.
That's insane.
Yeah, so we're sitting here, we've got two of our for all who didn't watch, literally you have I think it's called the big red turn, so it's up a hill essentially, which the hill was insane. By the way,
It looks insane.
it's so exhausting going up. Anyways, so right off the start, you immediately have this basically almost 90-degree turn, not even, and probably like what?
It's like basically a hairpin.
Yeah, it is basically a hairpin turn. Anyways, huge turn, and our lovely little McLarens decides to take each other out. Although I will say, I don't necessarily think it was Oscar's fault that he took Lando out. I think Oscar got hit.
So that's interesting because I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, you didn't probably didn't see the replays because you were there and
Yeah, I
actually
did.
experienced it. But Lando's ahead, right, the entire time. And Oscar was trying to do a switchback, which in theory sounds great, except you're realizing it's turn one on a track that everyone just had a long run down to turn one, right? So everyone's going to be on top of each other. He tries to switch back, but when he switches back, Nico Hulkenberg, who made his way all the way up there that day, was right next to him. So he ran into Nico, like bumped Nico slightly, and then rammed
Ran right
Lando.
into I
So,
I that's
like,
why I said I don't necessarily think it was. I think there could have been a little bit more
respect or maybe smarts out of Oscar.
yeah, I would say smarts, maybe a little more defense
Like
on his
as we know, like
side.
for all those who watch this podcast, I love Oscar, but I'm also an Oscar hater, right? Because I like the McLarens, I like Lando more, right?
Great.
Zach Brown was defending Oscar and said that it was really poor driving on Nico Hulkenberg's part. You look at the replay, like
It was just poor driving on both sides. Like I don't think Orlando, I
there's
mean,
nothing Nico
Orlando
could
win
have
or not.
done. Like
As I
Alonso
said,
was
I
on
don't
the other side. Like Alonso was pushing him the other
well,
way.
and
Like
Alonso ended up getting DNFing anyways from the whole situation.
it was
So,
I think it was entirely on Oscar just by the way that he did it.
I
So
guess I don't think it was like initially his fault per se, but I think there could have been a little more defensive driving to kind of avoid the whole situation together. I think it could have just been an incident between Oscar and Nico rather than a whole DNF. So,
exactly. So, I
uh,
digress. I interrupted your moment. So sorry.
I mean, it's a great way to put it. I honestly hadn't even think about it. Well, like I said, I didn't even watch the replays. They
You
had
don't need to.
they had like big screens on there that were like playing basically what you were probably watching, but like it's so hard to hear and also like
You just hear
anyway.
the cheer from like a mile away, and you're just like, oh, something
Exactly.
happened.
And then you like see it on the screen and then you're like, "Oh, what just happened?" Anyways, yeah. Other than that, not much happened. We saw Ocon and Lance Stroll kind of DNF as well. Lots of DNFs for the sprint race, which was kind of strange in my opinion, but it's fine. Long story short, after the few laps we had there, we saw a max podium,
We saw Max
which
win.
yeah,
We saw Carlos podium though,
and we saw Carlos podium.
so that was cool.
Full Williams podium, which was awesome, which was I was so excited. I don't know about you, but that was really awesome to see Williams.
Well, I just
Um,
like seeing that's what his second podium this year now, right? Obviously, one sprint, one main race, but like
I believe so, yeah. I
Williams
believe
is really back. I love it.
they are back. They are
I
so
love
back, and
it.
I'm very excited for it. But with the Max win, I think it kind of set up what we were kind of going to expect on Sunday. So after qualies, we had a wonderful Max on pole with a Lando in second. And then, yeah, that's kind of what we were looking at. We come to start race day, and I think we had a little action at the beginning. I think Max took the lead, and then we had a little back and forth between Leclerc and Lando. So Leclerc actually came out. I don't know if you saw, but out on the outside, came in, passed. I was a little upset about that one. I don't know if you were or not,
Of
but
course I was, but
yeah, it's fine. Anyways, so I think for the first couple laps there, we saw Max, Leclerc, Lando. And then we had a wonderful Williams retirement when Carlos, I don't know what happened there, but just literally took Kimmy out.
yeah, that was a certain because he got away with it a lap before. He did basically the same exact move. I believe it was for
I,
Ollie to Ollie Behrman.
yeah,
He did the exact same move and got away with it, but
I couldn't tell if it was like his like tires came out from under. I don't know. I don't know what was going
it
on.
was
I also
just a
like,
he
saw that,
dive bombed him. That's all it was.
yeah,
And
Kimmy
Kimmy
did
didn't give him the
the
space that he
yeah.
probably should have, but
So,
um, yeah,
after a wonderful podium we had the previous day, a wonderful DNF.
I'll take it away.
Anyways, other than that, there wasn't really too much going on. We had a lot of back and forth between Lando and Leclerc. Eventually Lando ends up passing Leclerc, and then to end the race, we had another Max win with a Lando on podium.
It's
Leclerc P3.
it
So
was Leclerc P3, Lewis P4, and Oscar P5.
yeah, Ferrari also I also did forget Ferrari did have a very good weekend.
Ferrari's looked very good the last couple of weeks. You can even talk about it in Mexico. Obviously, Lewis had his penalty, but like as we'll talk about later, like he qualified what, second or third? I think second, right?
I think second.
And Leclerc, or I think he was third and Leclerc was second, but Leclerc ended up finishing second. And the only reason Lewis didn't finish top three, top four was because of the penalty. So Ferrari's looking pretty good lately. Um,
I'm very impressed.
I do want to ask you because I did see you were on the track at one point. How did that happen?
Oh, yeah. So I guess the cool thing about Coda, I don't know if they do it every year, but so you have the concerts after each day.
Who was it? It was
So it was Garth Brooks on Saturday night and then Turnpike Troubadours on Sunday after the race. So it was really cool. Anyways, so my mom and I forget what I think we were on for this. Where did we watch quals? I think I watched quals around turn four because we kind of like walked all the way around. Anyways, so we were just kind of hanging out before everybody left because we were gonna go check out the concert, and we started walking, and then we ended up getting on one of the grandstands and sitting in the grandstands for a little bit, and then I started noticing people like walking. So the way they had it was like, I don't know if you know where the bobby pin turn is. Anyways, so you have the turns, the bobby pin turn, and it kind of goes straight. So they had the basically music hall or whatever concert area kind of over on that area. So it was like kind of across from where we were sitting at like turn nine, I want to say. Anyways, they had you cross across the track. So the barriers, you had like the line to get in, and then you have to walk across the track within the barriers at least. And we started noticing people were walking up. Like they had it blocked off, obviously, so you couldn't walk the whole track, but like they had it blocked off up to a certain extent. And I saw people walking up, and I'm like, how are people getting on there? Because I thought it was like a VIP thing. Like, oh yeah, you can walk the track. Anyways, so my mom and I start leaving, and I'm like, oh my God, you can totally get on the track. So we just literally walked on the track. It was really cool. It wasn't a long, it
so
was maybe
was it a
like,
VIP thing you just snuck on, or was it
no,
a
you could just walk on. I mean, it was like, they had it, it was such a small part of the track. Like it wasn't a big, huge section. Like it was maybe like I don't not even a quarter of a mile long of what you could walk. Like it wasn't very
that's
long,
still
but
sick. Like just being on a course, like
and
obviously
it
I
was
didn't have the same experience as you in terms of Austin, but when I was in Miami, when we went to the concert, obviously the track is in the parking lot of Hard Rock Stadium, right? So me and everyone were literally walking up to, and I'm with Nick Angelino at this point, right? So we're walking up to the stadium and I see the curbs and I look at Nick and I'm like, we're like walking on the track right now. And he was like,
that.
yeah, I didn't realize that. And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And like, obviously the lights aren't on, like it's not an actual Formula One weekend. It's literally just walking, but you look up and you just see how wide the road is. Like it doesn't do it justice on how wide those roads actually are
It
until you're
was
standing on a track, right?
huge. It was
Like,
huge.
and like Austin's obviously a little bit better just because it's a great track for racing. Like you can pass Miami's Miami, right? But it's still just like it's got that like I'm gonna sound like a high schooler or like a middle schooler, but it's got that aura about it, right? When you're walking on the track, it just like feels so cool.
It was really, really cool. I was like, Mom, we have to go. We have to
I think
because we
this
were
is like
yeah, it was awesome. So we just kind of like walked around for a couple seconds, and then I took a couple pictures. It was a really cool experience. And
it's
then we
gonna
just
be a bucket list thing that we need to make it to as many track like we got to do the doable tracks if we can next year, right? Like I think Montreal has to happen.
Montreal, absolutely.
Austin has to happen. Miami's expensive. I'm not doing that yet, and it's also just not worth going to.
Maybe we can visit Maddie and figure it out,
This
but
is true. This is true. We could get a free, and Maddie would also like we get free housing, which is awesome. And Maddie would also. We got maybe a future series coming in where we discussed a little bit before, but we're not going to spoil it. But Maddie might know F1 by the time we go to the race next year.
hopefully. But I no, I agree. Vegas is doable if you get it at the right time.
Yes, Vegas is doable. Mexico seems very doable.
I would totally to Mexico City. I think
But
that'd
I
be
also
awesome
don't have unlimited money, so like it kind of depends.
there. So this might be a long-term
Brazil
goal,
also seems very doable. Interlagos would be sick to go to.
right? Anyways, long-term goals here, but we will get there
We will
eventually.
get there.
Get
It
there
sounds
eventually.
like you had a fantastic time. All those Instagram stories, like
It
honestly,
was
I'm
awesome.
so happy to see that you were enjoying yourself, but I was so mad that I didn't
It,
go.
it was it was really cool, and I will give them a lot of credit. There's tons of activities to do. I mean, it's they have a roller coaster there. I didn't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they have a whole roller coaster there, and they're building another one. So it's
Like
gonna
in the track,
like in like outside, just outside the track. So like when you come off of turn 19 up into basically like the finish line, I mean the start line, whatever, like that whole back area is like a whole, they call it Coda Land, I think. And it's there, there's
fitting name.
yeah, there's one roller coaster and then they're building another one.
That's pretty sick.
So it was a whole thing. There's so much to do. And oh my God, yeah, they give out like race radios. So if you have like an Amex, you can get like a free race radio
I
so you
have
can
an
listen.
MX. This is good. Wait, so
There's like
like you can listen to the
yeah,
like
you
it's an
can listen.
actual radio.
Yeah, it's like a little radio and you've got like headphones and it
It's the
can like
team radio.
not the team
Oh, okay,
radio,
I'm
but
about to
it's,
say that'd be
it's like
sick.
it's like the race radio, so you can like
That's
listen to
actually
the
something
race.
that you could or maybe should try next time we're there. Being on the track, bring like headphones or something, right? And you have F1 TV like the premium version. I don't know if you still do, right?
I
And
do,
like
I do.
where you can actually listen to the team radios as they're happening. I feel like that'd be sick to do on the track.
Which super side note, now that you bring that up, I don't know if you saw recently, but they're getting rid of F1 TV
I didn't see that.
because
Well, because Apple TV, because Apple's doing their whole thing.
Apple
So
bought it. So I actually got an email the other day that they were discontinuing my membership and I
really,
have to go
there's
through
definitely
Apple.
they're gonna come up with something different, like Apple wise, like
I
all
have
that
to,
extra stuff.
yeah, I have to go through Apple TV now. So I don't know
Even
if it
for like
was
the
just,
extras too.
I don't know. So I don't know if it was just the US or I'd have to go in and look at it again, but that was kind of like I knew something was going to happen. I know we talked about with Apple buying kind
Yeah,
of the right to it. I knew something was going to happen. And when I saw that, I think I kept seeing stuff online about it that people were like kind of upset. I'd be upset. It's just kind of destroys the whole thing.
yeah, the Apple thing is off topic, but it's just like such an issue.
I get it. As I said, super off topic. I get it, but like it sucks to see that they're kind of just taking away like the aura of it, I guess
Or
you would
that's
say.
the second time we've used R in this
I
podcast.
know, that's why I said
That's
it.
insane.
Anyways, all is all, great race, great experience.
That sounds awesome.
Could have hoped for a better sprint result, but beggars can't be choosers. So.
Beggars can't be choosers, especially after the weekend that we had here in Mexico, which we're about to discuss. But first, we did make predictions for Austin.
Oh man, I was
And
hoping
boy,
we
oh
could avoid
boy, did it
this.
go well for me.
I was hoping we could avoid this.
We are not avoiding this because guess who is in the lead again? City got a little aggressive last week, or in Austin, and did her McLaren 1-2 like she always does, which is acceptable, right? She just did it in the wrong order, and it was also just wrong. Um, long story short, she got 0 points last week,
Yeah.
and I did not. So we did have the sprint winner bonus. She had put Lewis in because of just Lewis has looked a lot better, which he has. I put Max. That happened. That's 2 points for me. Mind you, it was 46 to 40 at the start. City was up 46 to 40. 2 points for a Max Verstappen sprint win. I then went top five. I also had six with Lewis being the bonus of Max, Lando, George, Oscar, Charles, and Lewis. And I got Max and Lando right. So that's a total of 11 points for me. And that made the score 51-46 me. I am back.
Can't count me out yet. We still got like what, 4 races left?
We have four races left, I believe. What?
Uh,
Interlagos, Vegas, Abu Dhabi, and what's the last one? I'm forgetting.
did you
Qatar.
say
Qatar. Um, so yeah, I'm back in the lead.
uh,
Now, we
not
did
too
kind of
far
drop
behind.
the ball. We were going to do predictions last week for Mexico, but we just didn't really have time to do it. So we didn't do predictions
I,
last week.
I yeah, I
Granted, it
was
was kind of all over the place. I don't know if any of us would have really nailed that. So
I can tell you
unless
I would.
like just Ollie being where Ollie was. But I digress.
I was gonna say I couldn't tell you I would not. To be fair, I have predicted stuff like that in the
You
past.
actually predicted that in Austin that SD Bessie was going to get fifth. So actually, that's another question. I wanted to ask you this before we moved on. Did you go to like the driver Q&As and stuff like that?
Ah, no, I couldn't. So that's why I said I think I've got it down to a science next year when we go next year. So it's actually really cool. So they do a bunch of events in downtown Austin as well. So you can go and actually like see the cars and do like those kind of driver experiences. I don't know if you saw the stuff. I don't know if you follow McLaren on Instagram, but they were like posting those activities. So that was like in downtown Austin. So that wasn't in the actual track itself. So if you leave Wednesday, go Thursday. You can do all of that activities in downtown Austin where you could potentially like meet. I knew there were some people on my bus that like actually met the drivers like going to one of those events, which was really cool. But like I said, there is so much to do and like the sheer amount of people that were there was just like crazy. Like it's hard to go and it's like the Q&A sessions like let alone it was hot. Like so you were like it was 90 degrees and then where they held the driver Q&As it was like you were it was like a concert venue so you were like huddled in like the front like that.
Yeah.
I was not going in there. I probably would have died. So I think we walked by and watched one for a little bit. I think when they were interviewing Jack Crawford about next season and stuff like that, but that or they had them so early in the morning and I remember we were gonna go to one and we ended up getting on the bus, but traffic got backed up so hard that like it took us an hour longer to get there than we were when we were supposed to. It was a long trip. It was a lot. There's lots of logistics that go on, but it was cool. I liked it.
We have the
Oh my
science
God.
stuff now.
I actually I should get it down. Wait, hold on. I'm totally in my PJs right now. So when my mom and I when we watched the sprint race basically from like the inside of the track. So we weren't even sat. We just found some random spot. It was actually a pretty good seat. We were right across, so they do the Porsche Americas race there as well that weekend. So there was two races going on. So they had all the Porsches racing, and we were right across from the paddock that they had all of the Porsche cars in and stuff like that. So they were doing a poster signing. Wait. So we ended up getting a I got a signed poster with all of them
That's sick.
on it. It's
How'd
really
you get
cool.
that?
So they were doing it was like a free like autograph signing thing,
That was
and mom and
free?
yeah, it was free. And my mom, wait, I have more stuff. My mom and I were like the first people in line, so we got that signed. And then they were handing out like, wait, this is so cool. I totally forgot about this. Sorry, I hate to sidetrack.
No, please. This is your episode. This
But we
is
got all of their like cards, so I also got like signed cards from like each of the drivers.
that's sick.
It was cool. And then you got to like I have a bunch of them. But you got to like go into the actual wait, I'll show you the pictures. I don't even know. I don't even think I've showed Dylan the pictures.
You haven't.
So you got to go into the actual paddock of like the cars and stuff. Like you could sit there and talk to the drivers, the mechanics. Like you could literally go in and like basically touch the cars.
This is for the Porsche race, right?
But this is yeah, this is for the Porsches. I didn't pay enough money to do that with them. Anyways. Like you could literally like go in and like actually like see them and
That,
stuff like that.
that's sick.
It was so cool.
You know, that's sick.
Yeah, for sure. It was awesome. So yeah, you could like go in and see all of them, and then when you could like walk around, like you could literally go in and like touch it.
That's insane.
It was so cool. It was so cool.
That's keep
It was
making me
so
more and more
fun.
jealous. It's
And
crazy.
then I got an up close picture of all of the I don't know if you watched the drivers parade, but I got to see all of the ATVs that they
Yeah.
drove for the drivers parade. I tried to steal a flag, but the guy wouldn't let me.
That's so on brand for you. That's
I
so
did.
on brand.
I did. I went up and asked him. He was putting because they had all the flags on the back of
So
the
you try to
ATV.
steal it. You're like, can I have this?
Well, yeah, because he had all of them in his hand. I was like, what are the odds I can get one of the flags? He was like, no, I can't. I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Hey, worth a try. Worth a try.
It was cool. But like here's like an example. Like obviously this isn't an actual F1 car, but like they have like stuff. This is like downtown Austin.
That's that's not an actual car. Like not the one that is
No,
racing
it's
now, but
not.
I'm saying
It's
like previous generation or anything.
maybe,
Because I
but
was
like
like when I was
I
in Nashville, like Daniel Ricciardo was going up and down Broadway with an actual car, but it was one of those old gen cars.
I don't think it was because like the whole intake system looked like fake, essentially, if that makes sense. Like up in here, it might have been, but like up in here, like it was like blocked off. It looked fake.
Yeah,
So, well, they left it there overnight. Like
that
there
might
was
be why it's
nobody was
up.
guarding this, so I don't think there's any shot that this was real.
That's okay. And it looks real in the picture. I wasn't there, so I
It
don't
does. It looks real in the picture,
know.
but that's what I say. Like they have a bunch of stuff like downtown that you can do and everything.
It's cool.
10 out of 10 recommends. Would do again.
We'll,
Will do again.
we'll be doing it again, and we will be doing Montreal. I'm
Yes, I
making
think
sure
it'll
of
be
that
fun.
because I love that place.
Anyways,
Anyways,
let's move on to Mexico.
let's move on to Mexico because there's a lot to talk about in Mexico. We don't want to make this an hour-long episode, so let's get right into it because it may not have been as exciting as Austin for Sydney because she wasn't in Mexico, but it was just as exciting for me because I was on my couch for both of them. So what does it matter? So
All that matters.
immediately just I wrote, oh boy, because there was a lot going on in this race.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
and it started in qualifying because Lando had a absolute screamer of a lap where he was almost half a second above everyone else and takes pole. And not only that, but everything kind of set up for him to take advantage with Max coming in P5 and Oscar in P7. And that is huge because it's the string of the championship was pretty consistent
Uh,
because of it. So, because of that, we get a race start that is very exciting because Mexico has a very long run to turn one. Orlando had a fantastic start, but it didn't matter because everyone did, and it was such a long run to turn one that you didn't know was going to happen. We ended up getting four wide. It was awesome with Lando, Oscar, or no, Lando, Charles, Lewis, and Max all going four wide, with George also being a part of that. Um, Lando gets away unscathed, is what it is. He was kind of a little bit ahead of everyone. It was perfect, right? But
uh-huh.
Leclerc makes contact with Lewis. Max then almost makes contact with everyone, but has to cut the corner to escape it, as does Leclerc. Max, I don't know if you saw it. You know how the wheel's supposed to be like this and straight?
It was not.
That the entire time drifting it and just keeps it off the wall, is able to keep it on, get back on track. He ends up taking the position and being ahead of George. George threw a little fit about it. George was kind of on one this weekend, but it was fine.
I was gonna say side note, I loved George this weekend. That was awesome.
I did as well. I believe it ended up being Lando in first. I believe Lewis was in second because Charles had to give the position back. I could be wrong. I think Charles actually stayed in
Like,
second. Charles stayed in
I don't
second and
think
Lewis went in third.
I was gonna say I don't think Lewis if he was there it was for like 2 seconds.
Yes. Max did have to give the position back, so he ended up going behind Lewis. However, that was not the last time that anything happened because neither of them got a penalty on that, which is a little ridiculous. I thought Max definitely deserved it, but I digress. Oscar in this entire thing gets stuck behind Yuki Tsunoda, doesn't really do anything with it, and ends up taking a little bit longer than he would have liked to pass him, right? The big moment of the race, which is really the biggest moment and the stuff that we need to talk about. Max and Lewis fighting in a 2021 or 2020
I was
2021 redo,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
was awesome. They were going right at each other, right? Max ends up essentially dive bombing, not completely bombing, but it was a clean move on Lewis. Lewis has to take to the escape road. However, he makes the mistake and doesn't actually take the escape path. He cuts the track. So he ends up ahead and drives away. He's in second, right? It's going to come back to be a discussion later. We just got to deal with it, right? While this is happening, George Russell is sneaking up on Max. Max goes deep. Russell then tries to take a run at Max. They both go deep, and who passes?
None other.
None other than a Haas of Ollie Behrman passes both of them, both Max and George, and is up into P4.
Oh my God, it was amazing. I literally texted Dylan. I think you were traveling
I
home or
was
something.
traveling home from Pennsylvania. I wasn't watching live, but Sydney texted me, "You would
I
never
texted,
guess who was in P4." And
I
I'm
was
like,
like,
"Sydney, don't say it."
oh my God. I was so excited. I was so giddy. I love it when we get a good underdog up there. It's my
The
favorite.
best part about this, not only does he get to P4, Lewis then gets a 10-second penalty and serves it relatively quickly. We had Ollie Behrman in P3 at one moment this race.
Oh my God, it was
We
awesome.
thought we were getting a podium for Ollie Behrman. It didn't happen, but it was an unbelievable experience to have, right?
I can't even complain. I can't even
He was
complain.
just so poised with the move too. It's like everyone was fighting ahead and he just let everything kind of happen. And then he was like, all right, bye.
Amazingly. I mean, throughout the entire rest of the race, he drove
Yeah,
like
he was
beautifully.
unbelievable. He was impeccable.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Um, then it kind of gets a little boring. This did happen around the same time a little earlier. Leo Lawson almost killed two marshals, like almost ran him
Yeah, I don't
over.
know what
Like
that
that was pretty
was.
bad. He ended up retiring with damage, not from hitting the marshals. It makes it sound like he did. He didn't. Had to retire with damage after making contact at the beginning of the race. Then Nico Hulkenberg had to retire with engine issues that he was also having at the beginning of the race. He had it before the race even started. So we immediately get two guys down. Carlos Sainz then gets a penalty because the pit limiter malfunctions in the pit lane. So he was speeding in the pit lane. He then did it again and had a drive-through penalty. However, it ended up not really mattering. The big
Yeah.
thing in the race was the strategy was that everyone was trying to run a one stop except for Max, who went on to or one stop, two stop. I don't know. They were all trying different strategies. They're on alternating
I think
strategies, which is always fun to see. I believe Max ran a one stop. So I think everyone was trying to do a two stop and Max ran a one stop.
I think a lot of I don't know. I want to say Lando only did a one stop.
Orlando was also 30 seconds ahead of everyone. So
Well, yeah, but there was a couple people that I think only did one stops. I don't know. I have to look it up.
I'm looking at
Anyways,
it.
beyond the fact, it was definitely interesting to see the tire strategy because I know the track was hot. So
I want to make sure I'm getting it right. Max did a one stop. Everyone else did a two stop. So he went mediums to soft. He went long on the mediums. That's actually what it was.
yeah,
He
he
went
was
long on the
medium.
mediums
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
essentially outlasted two stints from the other drivers and one stint with the mediums and then pit to softs to end the race. And he went from P, I believe, 9 all the way to P3. So that was pretty cool. Um, Everyone else was trying to run the two stop. Eventually, some people ended up going to three stops, I believe, because they realized the softs were so much better. No, they just did the two stops because I'm
Yeah,
all
they just.
thrown off. The Austin
I
race
don't
always threw
think.
me off. But
I feel like Lando only did a one stop because I
Lando
think
did a one stop just because he was so far ahead, but everyone else
Austin.
did two stops because they went
Yeah.
soft to medium, realized the mediums weren't working, so they went back to the softs and went in.
Yeah, I was gonna say Oscar did. I think you're two stop.
Um, so everyone ended up doing a two stop, and then it got interesting because Max ended up making up 25 seconds on Charles. He had a 25-second lead at one point, and ends up having a fight for P2. While this is all going on, Oscar also is having a fight with P4 with none other than Ollie Behrman, which is crazy to say again. And both of the fights were going incredibly well. It was so entertaining to see, like the defending from both sides. Seeing Ollie Behrman kind of defend from the best car in the grid was pretty cool. And we were setting up for a incredible finish. Carlos Sainz, remember those issues we were talking about before? Came back to bite him because he ended up stopping on the side of the track. We never really knew where it was because they didn't actually show it on the broadcast. Eventually, it was
They-
pushed off to the side, but it brought out a VSC and stopped all of the momentum, which is really annoying.
Which I don't know. I would have understood if he was kind of like still in the way, but like I don't know if he was fully just basically off the track.
Yeah, he was not
Like
particularly close. But you'd also, we never really saw it, but then we saw it a little bit
I mean,
later.
we don't really see it, but it looks like he literally just drove basically straight off the track. Like he was no longer within the barriers at one
Yeah.
point.
And it was the slowest part. It was in the stadium section. It was like the slowest part of the
I said it,
front
it
part.
didn't. I mean, I'm can't say I'm not surprised that they did a virtual safety car, but at the same time, I don't know really know if there was a reason because I feel like
Yeah.
they took an obscene amount of time to even put it in place to begin with.
And I will say that I agree with too. It took forever, which means they probably saw something we didn't. And I will say I did see Max's onboard of like the radio and all that. Usually Max, if something doesn't go exactly like he wants it or exactly like it should be, he's losing his mind. He seemed very calm on the radio. So I feel like they probably got the decision right, but we didn't get a visual to actually see it. So um they did end up going green for about half a lap, but neither of those fights really got going again.
Yeah.
Uh, Lando won the race by, I believe, 40 seconds after the VSC because he made up some time
Yeah,
in the
I think
VSC.
it was the biggest gap the entire
It
season has.
was. Charles ended up staying P2. Max was in P3. Ollie Behrman P4 and Oscar P5. It allowed Lando to now take the lead in the championship from Oscar by 1 point. Max is
Really?
36 behind Lando, so it is not out of the question that Max can make it up. However, it is looking a bit grim now just because Max really needed Lando to lose out every single race to really have a
Uh,
chance. So now, really, Max's only hope, not only hope, both Oscar and Lando need to DNF at least once, and Max needs to win the race because that's a 25 point swing. And then it gets a little iffy. Max has to win out. Like that's what it is, right?
yeah, it's not doable.
Well, let's see, actually.
It's not doable, but that also means you have to take two drivers, not just one out of contention.
Yeah. Seven
So,
times, 4 races left. He can make up 28 points if say Lando gets second every race. And Max wins, it's 28 points right. However, you have to think that Lando and Oscar are going to be probably second and third if that were to happen. So if Max does win, there's absolutely a chance. Like he has to
as I
win
said,
out.
he's gonna have to completely,
He's going to have to win out, but he's also going to have to hope that the McLarens kind of invert each other every once in a while or just have bad races. But Max has to win out for this to even be a discussion. So
yeah. Like I said, not that it couldn't happen, but I think a lot of stars are gonna have to align for it to idealistically happen,
it
if
is
that makes sense.
definitely still doable. So interesting to discuss. I do want to say, because we have to bring it up before we end this episode, the championship battle is truly the best championship battle we have seen since 2021, which is awesome. Um, because we're actually going to have a two-horse race all the way down to the wire, maybe even a
And
three-horse race.
I literally couldn't be more excited. And there is every bone in my body that is very upset that I cannot be in Abu Dhabi this year.
Yeah, I was never going there just because that's a 16-hour trip. But so we have one, two, three, 4 races left. There is a very possible chance. Like, let's say Oscar wins in two of the next 3 races, right? And Lando comes in second of both of them. And then Lando wins the other one. So, like, there's 4 races left, right? Lando wins one, Oscar wins two, and the other person comes second both times. That last race would be the decider, as in whoever won that race would win,
That's why I
right?
said there is
Like,
every bone in my body that is upset that I am not in Abu Dhabi this year.
it's just so fun that we're actually going to see, like, Abu Dhabi's going to matter for once.
Which
Like,
is cool. Well, because I feel like in the past, I mean, you look at last year, like yeah, we had a little bit of a battle between Lando and Max, but like it wasn't enough
but
that it
Max had
was
won it
like
in Vegas, right? Max won the.
that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't enough to where it was like a huge deal that it was literally down to the wire. So yeah, I mean, it has been a couple of years, honestly, since you've had an actual, I think, fight for the championship.
Abu
Long story short,
Dhabi
it's
keeps
cool.
having like the fight for second, the fight for fourth, and stuff like that that actually matter. I don't really care about second. Like, obviously, McLaren is they won the constructors, whatever, right?
Yeah, that's done and over with. That doesn't
It's
matter.
very fun to see. I don't care if they're on the same team that you're gonna have two drivers that actually have a chance for a championship in the last race. It's gonna be very interesting because that's gonna be the most stressful race ever because if one of them DNFs, like, oh my Lord.
Oh my God, it's game over.
One of them
What time?
DNFs, like it's what time is the race? Abu Dhabi is 8 in the morning.
Oh man.
Which is interesting because I remember Abu Dhabi in 2021. I believe it was at like 2 in the morning because Peter, I lived with Peter Marsh at the time, and he was downstairs in like one of those conference room areas, watching it on his computer at 3 in the morning because he didn't want to keep everyone up, and I wasn't in F1 yet, and like all that.
I
So
feel like
like
they've
it's
definitely
weird.
switched some things around. I mean, they switched the Vegas timing around too to kind of help with that a little bit because it was ending so late and starting so late. Um, yeah, I'm very excited. I think it's been a fun couple weekends.
That's interesting. No, it started at 8 a.m. too. That's weird. I don't know why. Peter was just lying.
I
Maybe
don't
he's
know.
watching qualifying or something. I don't know, but
No, I know a couple of them are pretty late. Yeah, your practice and I think your qualifying. Yeah, your qualifying is literally, well, I don't know what Peter was on. Maybe he was watching qualifying because practice is at like 4 in the morning.
I
So
forgot what it was, but it's interesting. Any last
I'm excited.
predictions? We have 4 races left. What are we saying?
I mean, I'm going Lando. I mean, just tried and true, I'm hoping I would love for a McLaren sweep, whether it is Lando or Oscar, but I think I would prefer Lando in my opinion. But I also wouldn't be upset if I saw an Oscar win. As much as I would love a Max win, that apparently everybody wants a Max win now.
Like I kind of would be down for it. Like
I wouldn't be upset. Okay, so that's the thing is like I obviously want a McLaren sweep, right? And I would love for Landon to win. That would be so, so cool. But it would just be absolutely insane if Max came back and won the championship. That would be
I'm
crazy.
I'm gonna go
Entertainment
out.
purposes only.
I'm gonna go out on the limb. This let me find it actually. 1 second. I'm gonna go out on the limb that whoever wins Interlagos wins the championship. If it's between Lando and Max or Lando and Oscar. I don't if Max wins
I think
Interlagos, it's let's rephrase that. Whoever does better in Interlagos between Lando and Oscar wins the championship. Because I think I just have that feeling again. Max won Vegas last year in a pretty similar car, right? I think that's how it's gonna be, right? I think Max is gonna win Vegas. I think whoever wins Interlagos and wins Interlagos, and then it goes from there. With that being
I'm
said, I think Lando's performance last week has kind of given me the confidence because we've seen it the last couple of weeks. We've said it before, I'll say it again. Oscar's struggling the last couple of weeks. Like, if you look at his finishes, if I just get it up real quick, he was fifth this
he's not
past race, fifth the race before that, fourth the race before that, and then in Azerbaijan, he was, where was he? He DNF'd. He crashed the car. And then in Monza, he was third before that. So the last podium he's had was Monza, which is it's been over almost 2 months now. So I think by the time this next race happens, it's going to be over 2 months since Oscar Piastri was on the podium.
oh my gosh.
So Lando's performed during that time. I don't know what's up with Oscar. He's just kind of not performing now. You could make all the claims that McLaren is rigging his car. It's not true. People who say that I think are
I
the
just
dumbest people in the
I
world.
mean but it's like I just think it's pressure, and I mean it's been a long season, and I mean you could easily compare this to last year with Lando and Max. Like, yeah, we have a battle, and then
It is what it is. It's whoever
it just
can deal with the
fizzles out.
pressure.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
experience
It
helps,
just
right?
fizzles out.
Oscar didn't have the experience of fighting for an F1 championship. Lando didn't have that last year. This year he does, and that's why he's doing so much better. Max has it, so that's why he's always doing right. All right. So it'll be interesting to see. My prediction is that Lando is going to end up winning it. And I think Max is going to come second, just personally, because I think Oscar
Really?
is going to falter. But we'll see what
We'll
happens.
see. We'll see. Oh, I'm
But
scared.
that was one of the more fun episodes we got to do because I loved hearing about your experiences. That was pretty sick.
Awesome. It was absolutely
We're gonna
awesome.
get more of it. The cool thing that I realized, we obviously have next weekend, not this coming weekend, is Brazil. And then we got 2 weeks, and Sydney's here for Vegas.
Whoop whoop.
So we might have to do an in-person pod. I don't, you're coming Thursday night?
Yeah, I'm coming Thursday night.
We're doing an in-person pod that weekend, that week. We're doing it. We're gonna have to
We'll
find someone to do it, but we're gonna do it. So
figure it out.
we'll figure it out. Which is also crazy. The F1 bar in the city, Fiele or Feel, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
They're closing.
Oh
which
no.
sucks because we wanted to go there this week or for the Vegas race. However, we have some friends that we met last year. They've already put me in the group chat for the new community. They're
Yes,
apparently doing
same.
finding a new place, so there will be content to discuss,
They're up.
and we
It's
will
are
have
up.
some fun.
Love it.
Um, but until then, we have covered everything today.
Yeah, it's awesome. This was a fun episode.
This
I
was a
liked
fun
it.
episode. This was a very fun episode, but we'll be back next week. We're not going to skip any more weeks until the rest of the season is done, and then we'll probably have to go every other week just because there's not going to be as much to talk about. But we'll see you next week for Brazil predictions, all that fun stuff.
I love it.
Thank you guys for watching. Follow the Instagram, subscribe, give us your
Right. Your
suggestions,
friends.
please. And until then, we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.